This is going to be the largest housing crisis in the history of the United States. This crisis will be a lot worse than the 2008 financial crisis. And honestly, I did not want to make this video because this video is very scary, and if you look at what's going to happen to the housing market, it is going to scare most of you. Like most people watching this video most likely will never be able to afford a house after this crisis. So if you're not ready for what I'm about to tell you, please turn off this video because I'm going to explain why housing from now onwards will be unaffordable for most people, and it has mostly to do with the war in Iran. Wait a second, what the war in Iran has anything to do with me buying a house? Unfortunately, it does, and in this video I will explain why and why that is a really bad news for you. So if you look at how people buy houses, there are two ways. Either you are going to go and give them a cash, or you are going to get a mortgage. And the ratio is very clear that a third of houses, or less than a third, is people buying a house with a cash. So most people don't have enough money to buy a house. Most people rely on banks and mortgages to be able to afford the house that they want to live in. They represent literally more than 70%. And if you look at mortgage rates right now have come down to a little over 6% after they have reached almost 8% in 2023. But historically speaking, mortgage rates haven't actually been low. There was one period in the history of the United States after the 2008 financial crisis that mortgage rates were literally between 2 to 4%. Other than that, historically, mortgage rates were pretty high. They've been coming down, of course. But the reason that it wasn't a problem historically for the US is because in the past, house prices simply were much lower than they are today if you compare them to the average wage. So, for example, back in 1970s, around 3 wages or annual wages would get you a house. So even though that interest rates back in the days have been between 7 to 10%, most people simply could actually save for a house and go and get themselves a house with a mortgage or with cash. And even if you would get a mortgage, you could literally just put a 50 or a 70% down payment, and the rest of it you could finance it with a mortgage. So your annual or monthly interest payments would be reasonable. But here's the problem. The real question is, what is going to happen to the mortgage rates? If you can answer this question, you can literally figure out what is going to happen to the housing market. Now, most people assume that it is the bank that is going to set their interest rate or their mortgage rate. Unfortunately, that is not how it works. Mortgages are very bad investments because they are like 30-year investments. And if you're a bank and you're offering a mortgage, you don't want to lock your money for the next 30 years because God knows what is going to happen. Imagine 30 years ago, could you possibly predict that there is going to be an entire Iran war and there is going to be a huge oil crisis? Well, of course not. So because these are 30-year mortgages and 30-year loans, banks don't often want to lock their money for that long. So what exactly they do? This is you will go to the bank and get a mortgage. The bank will offer you the mortgage, but the way they set their mortgage rate is by turning your mortgages into a security that we call a mortgage-backed security. And this security will be sold to investors. So demand and supply for the mortgage-backed security by investors is going to determine the mortgage rates for you. So let's say investors really want to buy these mortgage-backed securities and there is a huge demand for them. Banks can confidently offer you a lower mortgage because they know that this mortgage-backed security can be easily sold to these investors. Now imagine an opposite scenario where these investors don't want to buy the mortgage-backed securities. Do you think the bank is going to offer you a lower mortgage? Well, of course not. So if we want to figure out what is going to be your mortgage rate, then we have to understand what is the demand by investors for the mortgage-backed securities. And there are 3 main factors that influence investors' decision: inflation, risk, and opportunity cost. So the higher the inflation is going to be, the higher return I'm expecting as an investor. So imagine you are the investor. Put yourself in the shoes of an investor. If the dollar is losing 3% of its value because inflation is 3%, what return are you expecting from your investment? at least it should be 3%. And even if you're going to get 3%, you're not making any money or whatsoever because the dollars are losing 3% of their value. So you're expecting a return that is going to be higher than 3%. It could be 4% or 5%. So the first factor that determines your mortgage rate is inflation. Now, the second one is the risk. Any kind of investment carries with itself a reward and a risk. If it's a very risky investment where my chances to lose my money is extremely high, then I'm expecting a very high return. But if it's a very safe investment, for example, when I'm loaning my money to the US government that prints the US dollar, then risks are extremely low, which is why I can expect a very lower return. So the question you should be asking yourself is that what kind of a security and how much are the risks for the mortgage-backed securities? Are mortgages very safe? Well, they are very safe, but not extremely safe. Why? Because we know from the 2008 financial crisis that the housing market can collapse and my mortgage-backed security will be a very bad investment. This is not speculation. This already happened once in the history of the United States in 2008 financial crisis. So essentially, mortgages are safer than the stock market because the stock market is a little riskier than the housing market, but at the same time, houses are not as safe as the US Treasuries, which is why if 30-year US Treasuries are paying right now 5% in interest rate, and the stock market has somewhere between 10 to 11% right now, then mortgage-backed securities sit somewhere there. So it could be 7%, 8%, or maybe even 9%. The third factor is the opportunity cost. Now, what is the opportunity cost? So imagine you have $1 million in your pocket. Now, you have many options to invest that money. You could invest it in real estate, you could invest it in bonds, or you could invest it in the stock market, or you could buy gold. Now, if you take that money and you buy gold, for example, then you cannot possibly invest that money in the stock market. So the opportunity cost is basically what is the cost that I will be losing if I choose one option over the other. And that's the mentality of an investor. If I'm going to invest my $1 million in mortgage-backed securities, then I will be missing the opportunity in the market to invest it in AI, in gold, or any other investments. So, what are the opportunity costs for the mortgage-backed securities? The higher the opportunity cost, the higher investors expect from the mortgage-backed securities. So the faster the stock market is growing, the faster gold prices are growing, the higher are the US Treasury yields, the more we are expecting the MBS or mortgage-backed securities to pay. So the Iran war literally changes the dynamic of the market for all these three factors. Now, first of all, what is going to happen to inflation? So if you look at oil prices, they have spiked first to $120, then they have actually plummeted after that, but now it's clear that oil prices will continue rising. They're about to cross $100. How do we know that? Because Iran literally sits at the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the global supply of oil passes through. And this war is going to take a lot of time. I told you this since day one because it was very, very clear. And the way that I know that I was right on this is because we know that other nations, such as Japan and the European Union, are releasing their strategic oil reserves. If they know that this war will be over in 2 weeks, why release your strategic oil reserves? Because we know that it's not going to be over tomorrow, so we gotta release them to stabilize the oil market. So if oil prices will continue rising, that means that there is going to be higher inflation. And if there is high inflation, then investors are expecting a higher return on their investments. Now, secondly, there is a disruption of the global supply chains. We live in a very globalized world. Everything is being moved from one place into another. So let's say you're living in a house and part of your house is that it is being built in China, and some of the things in your house, such as electronics, are built in Japan, and part of your house, something within itself, is being built somewhere there in Latin America, and so on and so forth. So if we have this war in the entire Middle East that is raising insurance costs, that is raising the shipping costs, then there is going to be global inflation, which again raises your mortgage rate. Thirdly, there is something that we call a wartime inflation. So what is inflation? Inflation is when the dollar loses its value. Now, if you look at the dollar, a dollar is an artificial commodity created by the government to make business and to make trade a lot easier. So we can manipulate the value of the dollar by manipulating the supply of the dollar. If we want the dollar to lose a lot of its value, we increase the supply of dollars, and vice versa. What happens during a war? The government needs a lot of money to win this war. So they need to buy a lot of ammunition, they need to hire a lot of soldiers, they need to build maybe another aircraft carrier, and all of that will be financed by debt. Now, because the dollar is an artificial commodity, that means the US government will be borrowing that money from the Federal Reserve, for example. So we are increasing the supply of dollars massively because of this war, which means that there is a lot more inflation. And that is why higher inflation means higher mortgage rates. But at the same time, these three factors have a huge implication on two other factors, which we call risk and opportunity cost. So if you're sitting down there and you're expecting that, oh, wait a second, mortgage rates will fall down to 2020 or 2021 rates, that is not going to happen because this war will be dragged and it will continue creating inflation. This factor alone already raises the mortgage rates. The real question right now is, what will the Federal Reserve do? So the first option that the Fed can do is raise interest rates to battle this inflation that we have. Now, if you raise interest rates, what happens to the US Treasuries? US Treasuries will now start paying a higher rate. So if a 10-year Treasury is going to pay 6% in yields, what do you think is going to happen to mortgage-backed securities? They have to pay a higher yield because remember, the opportunity cost, the risk. If investors can actually get 6% by investing in the safest investments possible, which are 10-year US Treasuries, why would they buy mortgage-backed securities? So since the opportunity costs now have increased, mortgage rates have to rise in order to offer a return that is higher than the US Treasuries. The second option is the Federal Reserve can actually lower interest rates to help the US government to battle this war, to win this war against Iran, because the US government desperately needs money and the Federal Reserve will lower down interest rates to make it easier for the government to borrow money. How that is going to impact your mortgages? Since we have lowered down interest rates, what is going to happen to inflation? Now, inflation is rising way faster. And remember, even though that the opportunity cost has gone down because you can make a lot less money from the US Treasuries, inflation is still much higher, so investors are expecting a much higher rate of return on their investments by buying mortgage-backed securities. They will go and buy gold, they will go and buy something else that is going to pay them something that is higher than inflation. So the war with Iran is going to raise inflation, it will raise the risks, and it's also going to raise the opportunity cost. All of these reasons are going to push mortgage-backed securities to offer a much higher rate, otherwise investors are not going to buy them. Now, there is a possibility that could happen that I have discussed in a previous video, that the Federal Reserve can actually put a cap on the US Treasuries. So because this is a war and the Federal Reserve will be under the control of the government, it means that the Federal Reserve will artificially lower down interest rates to help the government finance the war. So we're going to have lower interest rates. But it doesn't mean that we will have lower mortgage rates. Because in 2020 and 2021, the Federal Reserve started massively buying mortgage-backed securities. They literally bought trillions of dollars worth of mortgage-backed securities that lowered down the interest rates on the mortgages. But this time, that is not going to happen. Why? Because first of all, the Fed made it clear that we will not buy any more mortgage-backed securities. Secondly, it created a massive increase in house prices that most people now cannot possibly afford a house. And thirdly, it will simply create another bubble in the housing market, just like it did in 2008. So based on all of this that I've just explained to you, what will happen to house prices? Mortgage rates will continue rising. So right now, they're anything between 6 to 7%. You can expect 7 to 10%. They literally can go as high as 8 or 9% if this war persists. Secondly, house prices will continue rising because there is global inflation, whether you like it or not. And that is what I call the greatest housing crisis in the history of the United States. A market where the vast majority of people won't possibly be able to buy a house, not even with cash. Because as house prices continue rising, the number of people who can buy them with cash will go further lower. And because more than 70% of Americans are buying their houses with a mortgage, mortgage rates are going to continue rising. Higher mortgage rates in combination with higher house prices will just make it impossible for the average person to buy a house. But it doesn't mean that all hopes are lost. If you're actually smart about your money, if you actually manage your money properly, if you start buying the right investments right now, as house prices will continue rising, your investments will continue rising. And then you can take these investments and turn them into a house. Sell your investments and get yourself a house. And how do you do that? Well, there's a step-by-step instruction in the Investing Academy that you can literally find out right now. The link is in the description of this video.